Hi YouTube, it's Shanelli here. In this video, I'm going to be going over a few tips that I've learned along the way that I wish I had started taking more seriously earlier in my 20s. I wish I could go back in time and do these things when I was 21, 22, and 23. I just didn't know these things. Nobody sat me down and shook me by the shoulders and told me, girl, what you doing? You spending all your money on clothes and shoes. Stop that. I wish somebody had told me that, but nobody did. So I'm here to share it with you guys. So it's gonna kind of start with this big umbrella theme, which is if you just decide that you are not concerned with impressing anybody at all, then your 20s are you're gonna be able to take advantage of your 20s and maximize them like nobody's business, right? And I think the big thing that a lot of people in their 20s fall into a trap with is really making sure that they fit in with the crowd and that they impress their friends and impress people around them and post on social media things to show off. If you can somehow find it in yourself to really not give a crap about any of that stuff, to really just resist the urge to care even a little bit about what other people think about you, that is really hard to do because it's human nature to care what other people think of you and what they're saying about you, if they're gossiping, if they like you or not. You know, as humans, we crave human connection. We just want to connect with other people. We just want to make sure that other people like us and that we, that we have friends and that we can be social. And if you feel like you're doing something that's going to prevent you from connecting with people, then it's not really going to feel natural. But again, if you could find a way to not care about what other people think about you, that is literally the best thing you could do for yourself financially in your 20s. So now let me break down a couple reasons why I think that. The first reason, and I think this is a huge tip, is live in a small, modest apartment. Like when I was fresh out of college, I could have stayed in my parents' house much longer than I did and just pay almost no rent and just live in the basement, eat my rice and beans and mind my business. But instead, I chose to move out and start paying rent because I wanted to be independent. I wanted to have my space. Even if you do choose to move out and not stay at home, right? Choosing the most modest, affordable, small apartment possible is gonna help you save so much money, because the biggest place that people spend the most money in their 20s and throughout their lives is housing, transportation, and food. Those are the three biggest pieces of your budget. So if you could start attacking all those three pieces of your budget early on, you could save so much money. So number one is just an apartment that is small and affordable, not super fancy, just keep it modest. Number two is gonna go along with transportation, because transportation is the second biggest reason why people spend so much money. It is gonna be so tempting for you, fresh out of college with a nice shiny job offer, to go and buy a new car or to get a really nice car. If you do that, you're gonna be making car payments every single month for X number of years, 5 years, 8 years, 10 years, however many years it's going to take you to pay that car off. And it is just not worth it. It is a better idea to get yourself a little car, like a little used vehicle, something pre-owned that is not really expensive, something that's reliable. Obviously, do your homework and make sure the car is reliable. Check the miles, look and see, if the car has all its parts in good condition, all that stuff. Definitely do your due diligence, but don't go buy a brand new car and take a huge car loan just so that you can get this car that you can't afford, just so that you can show off that you have a nice, shiny name brand car, and that your car is new. It's just not worth it. You're going to be making $500-$600 monthly payments every single month, and you already have to pay for car insurance, and you already have to pay to maintain your car and for gas. So as a person who lived in New York City my whole life, I kind of I chose to just not get a car. And as embarrassing as it is to tell people this, I'm almost 30 years old and I don't have a driver's license and I don't know how to drive a car. I've been taking driver's ed classes just this year for the first time, because I think driving is a skill that I definitely want to have. But I have no intention of getting a car if I don't need it. Now, if I lived in a place that was not New York City, like if I lived in Kansas, or if I lived in, somewhere like in Florida, of course, I would probably get a car, but I would get again, pre-owned, like a used car, something super, super low cost. And I would just use that car until I couldn't drive it anymore. Even when you look at really big famous people that have a lot of money, like Warren Buffett talks about how he still drives the same car, or he has his car for a really long time and lives in the same house. he probably definitely can afford like luxury foreign cars and a mansion, but that doesn't mean that he should do it just because he can afford it. It's not the smartest financial decision. Number 3 is going to be really important, because number 3 is another area where young people specifically tend to spend a lot of money, and this is on clothing. When you buy clothing, you should just buy clothing that you need. In one of my early videos called Budgeting Basics, I'm going to link it right up here in case you want to go look back at it after you watch this video. That one, I kind of go down through how I used to budget and break down like understanding the categories in a budget. And one of the big things that I talked about there was clothes. A lot of people go shopping for clothes as an entertainment. Like, oh girl, let's go shopping at the mall. Or you tell your guy friends like, oh, let's go to the mall, let's go shopping. And it's like a thing that you do to just spend time, like as a pastime and as a hobby. But what happens is you end up spending money that you don't need to spend. So if you could just kind of have a very simple wardrobe and like not have super expensive name brand, a lot of jewelry, a lot of name brand accessories and clothes, like try to research something called a capsule wardrobe. I don't do this myself, but I'm inspired by capsule wardrobes a lot. So like I have a very minimal amount of clothing and I keep it very simple. But a lot of people do a lot, even less clothing than I have by doing the capsule wardrobe. Now, I read about the capsule wardrobe. I look at YouTube videos about people's capsule wardrobe, and that gives me ideas about the main items that I know I need to have, like a classic jacket, a classic good pair of pants, like just certain things that you need for work or for certain things. But it doesn't mean that you need to go shopping every weekend and buy everything and go on Amazon, go online and go buy everything all the time just because, hey, it's only $10, or hey, it's on sale, or I really like it and the summer's coming. Like I used to tell myself all these excuses, and in my early 20s I probably spent thousands of dollars on shoes and clothes that I don't even know where that money is anymore. Like, I don't even know where those clothes are anymore. I know where the money went. I know where the money is, but I don't know where those clothes are and where those shoes are. Like, I don't even use them anymore. So to me now, looking back in hindsight, it was such a waste of money. If you could just keep your wardrobe simple, you will save so much money and put yourself at such an advantage in your 20s. Number 4 actually should have been number 1, because this is probably the most important one. But it pairs well with the first 3 things, and these 3 things that are pretty major have to be happening while this number 4 happens too. Otherwise, it kind of doesn't work. But number 4 is to make sure that you are accumulating assets that are going to grow significantly. Now, a lot of people think that the only way to do this is by putting a lot of money away, saving money every single month. But even though people say saving for retirement is really important, that phrase, I don't like it, and I try not to use it anymore, because if you just save money every month in a savings account for the rest of your life, you still will not have enough money to retire, because savings accounts just don't make your money grow at the rate that you need it to grow in order to build wealth, in order to build a big amount of money so that you could stop working one day. Savings accounts just are not going to cut it, right? The interest rates are on average about 1% in this country around it right now in 2019. So it's just not worth it. It's not a lot of growth. If you really want to accumulate a lot of money over time and to really make your money work for you, and like every single dollar that you have right now can be growing like 10 times, it has to be, in order for that to happen, it has to be invested in the stock market. I always talk about low cost index funds on my channel. That's just how I recommend people look into investing, especially beginners. It's easy, it's passive, you don't have to do a lot of work, and it's really good in the long term. So while you are living modestly in a small apartment that's not super expensive, getting a used or pre-owned vehicle, not spending money on a brand new car, not having a big old car payment every month, and keeping your wardrobe really simple, not falling into the trap of spending a ton of money on clothes, at the same time, all the money that you will be saving in those 3 categories, if you invest it in a low cost index fund every single month, starting in your early 20s, that is literally the formula for financial freedom super early, like in your mid 50s, if not like before most people retire. It's like 10 or 15 years early before the average person retires. If you have specific questions or comments about this, definitely put them down in the comment section below. Also, you can email me at missbehelpful@gmail.com. Definitely go find me on social media. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, and I like to post a little bit more personal things on those platforms and just stick to my financial education stuff here on YouTube. I post videos every single Thursday, so definitely come back to the channel and check out more future content from me. And hopefully the videos are helpful. Hopefully they help you to get your money right and to really change your life for the better. So till next time, peace.